Yeah, we're going to start here. Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. First order of business I'd like to do is welcome Caroline Nestro, the newest member of our planning board, and she's an alternate member. What that means is that she attends every meeting, participates in every meeting, participates in the discussion, and only if someone, a regular member, is absent does she vote. Okay. I haven't heard from Paul, so as of right now, we'll say that you will vote tonight in the place of Paul. If he shows up, we'll switch it back. So, welcome, everyone. We've got a couple of applications to consider tonight. And I'm going to ask Holly to call the roll.
Chairman Mayhood.
Here.
Mr. Craig.
Here.
Mr. Rainbow.
Here.
Mr. Grove.
Here.
Mr. Yuki.
Here.
Mr. Miller. Vice Chair McConkey.
Here.
And Mrs. Nestro.
Here.
All right, we rise and salute the flag with us, please.
I
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And just a note for the planning board members, the microphones to the time on or they go off sometimes, so if you're gonna speak, just make sure that you can tell there's a display here and a little bit. And Michael's gonna pop. If you're gonna speak, remember, because it's gonna be recorded, we can hear everyone. But it's for the recording. Yeah, turn that on, just turn it on. Thank you. All right, so first, we do have some agendas there for you folks if you're interested. First thing I wanted to note is that on our agenda that was sent out in the packet, the date is incorrect. It is the November 27th meeting. And so with that, we'll move on to a privilege of the floor. Is there anything that anyone would like to address the board with that is not on our agenda? Okay. So the next thing listed on the agenda are two public hearings, one for each of the two applications we'll be reviewing, but we will do those as we begin the review of the individual applications. So run through the preliminaries here. Approval of the minutes of the October 23rd meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second? A discussion, I found one thing that needs to be corrected. On page 3. The motion at the top of the page says Mr. Craig motion, seconded by Mr. Youthy. It was unanimously carried to recommend to the Canadice Town Board that Ms. Nestro be appointed as an alternate member to the planning board. That's just a clarification. Any other corrections? So the motion's on the floor then to approve as amended. We made the motion, that was the discussion. Now we'll have the vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Great. Good job, Holly. Thank you. We go into reports. The first one was the town board. I attended the town board meeting on.
As far as Caroline goes, does she vote on the minutes since?
No, she doesn't vote on the minutes.
Okay.
She abstains on the
Okay,
minutes.
all right, but I'll put a name, right?
Right. Good point. November 13th, town board met. They had a public hearing asking for comments on the proposed 2024 town budget. There were several comments made and questions by residents of specific items, particularly in regard to the wage increases that were posted, and they gave their justifications for them and didn't really change anyone's opinion on that, on what the proposed budget items were.
Actually, they did not give it.
They, right. They didn't give a specific justification with data, it was opinion. And they said, you know, there had been a budget workshop and they had gone over things, there had been a discussion the previous meeting. So, but there were several people that were there commenting, and that's the purpose of a public hearing. The other thing, let's see. They, they went into their reports, the town, oh, excuse me, the privilege of the floor, another privilege of the floor was that there was soon to be an opening in the town for a court clerk. So they were requesting if anyone had an interest or knew of anyone that would be interested in becoming the court clerk to apply to that by contacting Steve Engard, the current court clerk. Steve is moving on. He's been elected as a town justice, so he'll be moving into that seat next year. We need to fill his spot. So that was their privilege of the floor item. They did go into some reports. Really nothing significant. The highway department reported that it completed some paving on Old Bald Hill South, did some road patching. They were excited because they have received the new grader that the town just bought. Town currently hasn't had one for several years. They've been borrowing one as needed, and so they were very happy and reported that they'd had it up on Canadice Hill Road, practicing, learning how to use it, and hopefully improving the road a little bit. Pardon? Are they already? The roadside mowing is complete, and they had done one salt run at the time of that meeting. That was pretty much their report. Honeoye Lake Watershed Task Force had some data they presented. Summary is this past summer was the worst summer in 5 years for blue-green algae blooms. It was the highest this year as it's been. If you may remember, a year ago, the DEC did an alum treatment on Honeoye Lake. Intent of that is to reduce occurrence of blue-green algae blooms. And it just didn't work. In fact, he said this is the worst, so contributed to that being worse or not, but it certainly didn't work. And the DEC is launching a new study this July. Water system operations, all of that. The Richmond and Hemlock Fire District contracts already built into the budget. And then they moved to new business and they had a resolution to adopt a 2024 town budget, and that passed unanimously. We appointed Caroline as an alternate to the planning board, and that was all that was written down. Any questions? County planning board, Steve Wood.
Okay, attended the November 8th county planning board meeting. We had another hour training beforehand. First half hour was done by Tom Harvey, did a overview continuation of Ontario County Housing Assessment Study. So, and then Linda picked up the other half hour introduction to access management. We had a number of referrals, but really the only two were you mentioned tonight. The use variance, class 2, which is a countywide significance. Use variance from the town of Manchester was to operate a motor vehicle repair shop in a residential area. And that the applicant couldn't prove the unnecessary hardship criteria that the state law mandates that sent it back to the local board. Recommendation denial and for their purview. The only other referral of a local nature was here at the town of Richmond. The birdhouse. They're going to. A minor. They're gonna put an addition, 900 square foot addition to the primary structure. 1,200 square foot storage barn. They're gonna clean up and add 12 and 16 parking spaces. I think we've seen it, pretty congested. And, that's the main thing. And they're gonna replace the current white event tent with a more permanent pavilion structure.
Questions for Steve? Thank you. Zoning board, I didn't see any new meeting recording for the minutes, so. Stay with me. Code enforcement, included in your packet. Report from Joe Miller. Permits have been issued and renewed. Violation. But if you have any questions on those, Joe Miller is on the contact. Comprehensive plan, do we have any updates? You wanna add?
Nothing too much.
Okay.
I'll plan to meet with Supervisor Vastola over the next month or so, and then I assume we'll start a kickoff meeting in January.
All right. Any questions for Caitlin about the comprehensive plan rewrite or update? Thank you. Okay, with that old business, we really don't have anything that we have to complete tonight. So we'll move to the new business. The first one we have is a subdivision application for Mr. James Ward. You have the application. And his application, he owns approximately 30.5 acres near the junction of Ross Road and Kinderlace Hill Road. His plan is to subdivide into 4 properties, 2 of which will be adjoined to existing properties. That's one of the things we need to get completion on as we review it tonight. And retain the other 2 separate properties for himself. Application's pretty straightforward. And this comes to the board here. Did put a map in for you. So a couple of things, you notice on the map. The northernmost property, Mr. Ward, which property is that going to be joined to? You don't show on the map where that's going to be joined. Okay, so it's going to be attached to the west property of Brian Christie.
He said they're trying to get them all in both of their names, but their schedules don't match.
So on the map that I sent you, you'll notice this portion it didn't have, so now we'll have a little jiggly mark right here to show that this lot is going to be adjoined to this property of Brian and Diane Christie. Okay. And the reason that that was necessary was because the lot as drawn does not have adequate road frontage, so as long as it's being annexed to an existing one, there are no problems from that from a geographic standpoint. There was one more issue. What was the other issue?
Leach.
Oh, yeah, we needed it on the map. There's no septic tank or well. And so he's gone back to his surveyor and just handed me this. And so you can see This is the property that he lives on, and so this is a rectangle here. It's the leach field, and the well is over here on this south side of the driveway. So that includes all of the necessary information that we had seen. I want to have everybody else look at that and see if there are any other questions on the proposal. So the southernmost is going to be adjoined to property of Mr. Winterman, who's back here. Southernmost west side, so that is not going to be a new lot, that's going to be joined to his existing property. This one, Christie's here, these two lots are going to be retained by Mr. Tax maps. Yes, do you have any questions about application, what it is, or any specifics, if somebody wants to look at this in more detail?
Just I assume the well and septic need setbacks.
The well. What is, did not put a distance on there, it's 51 feet to the corner of the leach field. So some number. These are pre-existing, these are not going in this time.
Right, but we're creating new lot line, correct?
Right.
Actually goes to the 65 feet to the corner of the leach field.
This is the surveyor, paragraph.
And I don't know what the distance from, is from the well to the property line. It appears to be approximately 50 feet. I don't know what the regulations for the well setback.
Well, there was one,
Pardon?
that I wasn't aware of a well setback.
I'm not sure. Are you the surveyor?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Typically, when we put a leach field or a well, it should be a distance marker from the closest point to the property line. 80 feet for septic.
Well, I'll tell you that it's not normally part of my job to show a leach field.
Well, that's part of our requirement, our local requirement.
I'm learning that, I'm just saying that. As a New York State requirement, it is not part of our purview because it's subsurface, and unless there is surface evidence of the leach field, I can't tell you where it is. That's why it says, per owner.
So. I'm using that well. 108 is the chapter, and the section is.
Or do your code enforcement officer typically attend your meetings?
No,
No,
it is not.
I'm very familiar with Town of Richmond and their code enforcement officer, that's both planning and zoning board meetings. They're usually faster on the draw for your code than any of the board members are.
That's right. He's not here, so. Anyone has it online, you can search for well. No specification for well set.
Well, I
location.
did a search for wells.
Apparently, we don't have a setback. for
They
well.
have the
Setbacks are actually.
no, they do stuff.
So this is the rural district. It would
Can't
be,
see why they would need a setback.
Well, if you're drawing a well next to someone else's setback. We.
there's state standards for that. That's subdivision between a well and a. Yeah, you're a leach field, 100 to 150 feet per well at leach field. Right. Which that doesn't meet, but it pre-exists all of that code. Oh, I do not locate the setback for a well. So given that. It's an issue that we. Not required, it's not in here. Does have, so the distance from the corner of the leach field is needs to be 80 feet. This is 51 and about, even put it on there, so it's about 20, it's about 71 feet. Probably. It's not on the map I gave you, but unless we just gave you on the southern, yes. It's about that, because he's got 51 and 20 here, so it's about 7. You want to see this? The same map we just did. Well, we're. So, best I can see is that the, septic, existing septic is approximately 70 feet from the southern boundary of the proposed lot. The well, we don't seem to have specification on that. So the question is, what about the setback for the septic? One option is to redraw the southern, the boundary between the two properties to achieve that 80 feet. Another option is, this board has the authority to waive the requirements based on a lot's geographical setup. Or septic.
Wasn't talking about 5.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
I just told him he could move that line. Since he hasn't put the pins in for that line, he can move it.
well, given that, I mean, given that it's not a
I mean-
finalized thing, we should be informing, so.
Okay,
Or we should require that. Move the southern boundary back or down so that the corner of the leach field. Yeah, I know we don't have a picture. So the corner of the leach field is at least 80 feet. I thought it was 80 feet from the road.
80 feet from the property line.
It's the road, here's the leach field.
I would say if it's not a burden, you should have the septic in.
Right.
Not a problem.
It wouldn't affect the front at all.
They're not gonna set the pins properly until it's correct.
I'm waiting for this to get done. Anybody want to see this? Since we just got it. There's what he's put together.
So this line will come,
Yeah, so this is the leach field here. There's the home, there's the leach field, and there's the well. So this needs to be 80 feet. So they will move this one to achieve an 80 foot. It won't affect this. This this has plenty of road frontage
Okay,
Yeah.
and it just move it down.
okay.
Makes sense, Ted.
Okay. Sounds like we have consensus that we would like, or we're gonna require that this beach field be the 80-foot setback. So I would say, moving that line, it doesn't seem to impact anything else. Get plenty of road frontage, plenty of, just be able to change the acreage of the two individual lots. So
That was just a rough guess for size of the lot.
Right,
You
yeah,
know,
I understand, they just an arbitrary, you just eliminate the setback from the driveway. So, at this point, we need to back up a bit. I was rushing here, the first thing we need to do is by motion, open a public hearing as we review this application. So someone make a motion. We'll open the public.
I'll make a motion, we open the public hearing.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, okay. Second thing we have to do is open the preliminary review of this application by motion.
I make the motion.
Dwight, second,
Second.
Birch, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so now we're all legal. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. I have a little cheat sheet here, but I didn't, I didn't look at it. So, other than those two issues, which we've now resolved. Is there anything else?
Before, I assume we'll do like a conditional approval of that lot.
Yeah.
We would have one of those conditions, we verify no setback on the well.
Right,
I just looked at non-conforming, it calls out 10, so I know it's calling out wells in some spots, but I haven't found it.
Okay, and Birch did a search of the
Well,
online law.
Not a very good one. So,
Didn't find anything specific. So,
Yeah, just a non-conforming, they got 10 feet. So I assume it's called out for a conformance.
from somewhere,
I haven't found it, so.
like I said, I
As long
thought,
as we meet that, I would go ahead.
Okay. all right, are there? Are there any other questions about the application, the map and the proposal? So let's, let me describe what it is I'd like to hear. Like to hear a motion. Well, first of all, a motion to grant preliminary approval with the specified modifications. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, right, any other discussion on it? All in favor of that?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Next thing we will do is move into the seeker review. The motion is motion to grant preliminary approval with the two conditions. I've seen the one condition being that. Remove southern property line on line number one. To minimum of 80 feet. Move it to the minimum of 80 feet.
I would just make that move the lot line to conform with setbacks, that way if the well goes up.
Oh, okay.
Covered under that.
I have, we will double check that,
But then you would still just have one.
right. With setbacks. Okay. Good. The seeker form, the environmental quality assessment form is included, questions number 1 through 20, part 1, are there any questions about any of those? Pretty straightforward, go ahead, Steve,
I just had two minor
okay?
additions that
Yeah.
perhaps the board would. Right, resides there. Which resides there on the old Christian Street side.
Does everyone see that? Number 5, you want to add a check mark to land use would be residential. I'll have you do this when I get done here and have you initial that we've corrected this. Or amended this. And what else?
And then I thought number 14, again, it was identify the typical habitat types that occur on. And I think, we could also, check the early mid succession. It is, for the most part, you know, especially from, I don't know, on number 14,
Was it, listed
I don't know what it is
typical
in the back of the
habitats.
property, but I know in front it's early mid succession. And it's just, I'm just throwing it out there, if no one concurs.
I think it's more forested.
Yeah, it's not,
I don't think it has the success.
It's the young road.
young growth would be on, or the mid successional would be grass and.
Shrubs.
Right.
I attribute like forest land.
I,
Yeah, I said, I'm just throwing it out. That's all.
I personally agree. I think it's such, still got lots of open fields and maybe some new bushes growing up. That's what I,
Okay. Besides just throwing it out.
all right. So we will, anything else on those? Change number 5 to add. Land use for joining it to add residential use. We'll do that a couple of moments here, and so that's part 1. And at this point, we go to part 2. Based on the answers that were given in part 1, we have this series of 11 questions. So we need someone to read down through there.
I'll read them.
Hey, Birch, thank you.
Number 1, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of the land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy if it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation, renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies, public-private wastewater treatment utilities? Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in the adverse change to natural resources, e.g. wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to the environmental resources or human health? No.
So those are all no, so the result. Conclusion is it's not going to have a negative impact on the environment, so part 3 is the page where we by motion approve that, so entertain a motion. Sorry, excuse me. Oh, yes, other questions before you.
I lost my train of thought. Steve mentioned when back to my original question on number 4. Okay, all land use. Okay, we addressed rural. Yeah, residential, and then Steve brought up, I think Rich brought up, thought it was more forest. I wonder if we actually would check the forest also.
All land uses that occur on. Yeah, so does everyone see that? The first question, number 5, one page, first page. It's suggesting that we should also, in addition of rural, we should include forest. Okay, everyone all right with that?
Yep.
Okay, so that's the second one we'll have. Change and initial. Okay. So back to a declaration of significance, motion to declare this no negative environmental impact.
I'll make a motion, we declare no negative.
No
impact.
negative impact. Okay, Birch, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Dwight, all in favor?
Aye.
You vote.
That's right.
Yeah. Any votes from now on tonight? You vote. Okay. So that's the seeker, the environmental quality review. At this time, we will close the public hearing by motion.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you. Caitlin motions in a second.
I'll second.
Birch, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Okay, thank you all. So that takes us to the final approval. So what we typically do in this case is we give a final approval. Conditioned upon submitting a final survey map incorporating the most recent changes that were mentioned at the preliminary. And that will be the movement of the property line to make the septic system meet regulations. And any other setbacks that we discover between them. So we can give a conditional approval. And along with that, authorizing me as the chairman to sign the new survey map once it's completed. Okay, Steve Engard, you get all that? All right, is there a second? Dwight, all in favor? Aye, opposed? Thank you. So for you, Dwight, so for you, Mr. Ward, I mean, I can give you back this one if you want, and you know what we need. Whenever you get that, give me a call and we can get together here. And at that time, you'll need 3 paper copies like that and 1 Mylar copy. Okay, of the final. And with that, you are done with us, Mr. Ward, and you just, like I said, get the map updated. And you'll take it over to the county clerk's office, go to the 3rd floor, real property office, and give them your maps. They will review them, they charge you a fee, send you downstairs to the clerk, and they will actually report it. Or your, not your fee, but your subdivision. Okay. Okay. Do you have a question?
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
Oh, yeah.
I looked at your town code, so section 120-57. Letter B has your well offset at 20 feet.
Thanks for finding that, 57. So 120, that's in the zoning chapter. Yeah, that's because that's where all the setbacks are, 57. $50 to the highway line. 20 feet. And thank you so much for finding that for us. I have to remember.
Any idea what the distance was in there?
I'm not sure, it's
Well,
in that, it's in that 20-foot range.
Yeah, and you're gonna be moving it down anyway, so it's, I'm sure that's at least 20 feet, but it very likely will be. To put that down for the septic system. So that's 120, I'm writing it down, 120. 57. Well, setbacks. These are crazy. Okay, so you're welcome to stick around for the rest of the meeting, or you're welcome to leave.
I do have one more question. So
Oh.
are we missing the other form that joins those? Are those 2 other lots gonna stand alone, or they're gonna be joined?
No, this is going to be joined to that. The other 2 are separate lots, individual lots.
So isn't there a form both of these homeowners need to submit to us as well? What if they call it the re-subdivision, or what's that? It's got a funny name that doesn't make sense.
The assessor takes care of that.
Okay,
If we've approved these, we've
Okay.
approved it. So the assessor actually
the assessor does.
gives,
that. Okay,
gives them that.
But if someone came to us and said, I want
combine these two lots, they would have to come to us. Something.
Right, right. Since we're doing this as part of the subdivision.
Okay, perfect.
Good. Okay. Thank you. With that, we'll move to the next application, and this is for Mr. and Mrs. Cicchetti. He just brought a revised map based on our discussions. It's a little more readable than the one I put together. Get that together. We can look at that together here. So if we look at the application, this is Mr. and Mrs. Cicchetti back here.
Good evening.
I will entertain a motion to open a public hearing for this application. Steve Engard, is there a second?
I'll second.
Caitlin, all in favor?
Hi.
Thank you. Opposed? No. So now we need a motion to open the preliminary review.
I so move.
Dwight, thank you. Second,
Second.
Caitlin, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so now we're legal. So if you look in your packet, the application,
I'm not open the public hearing, it was Steve and
Dwight.
wait,
Oh, I seconded both.
you seconded both.
Yes.
yeah, Steve motion and then Dwight motion. Caitlin did both. They own property approximately 79.1 acres. 6577 Canadice Hill Road. I included this map to show you where it is. It's right there where Ross Road meets Canadice Hill Road. Proposed use of site is recreation wooded. They're not planning any building or anything. It's a straight subdividing of a single property into three. If you look at the map that's been submitted, when I met with them, the only one thing that I saw on this was on the northernmost property where there's a pond. As drawn, they're gonna divide the pond up, and we don't allow that. We need a 20-foot setback from a pond. That's traditionally what our planning board has done, rather than divide a pond or just like any other improvement. Can't be divided. It has to be totally included in one property. So the map I just passed out shows what the proposal is. It would be just a box out around that pond, so that the pond becomes part of this center lot. Okay. So the full pond will be part of the center lot.
Thought you said you can't.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna box it in so that the complete pond is attached.
Making this line go around.
Yeah, we're gonna redraw that property line so that we include the complete pond in that center lot, rather than trying to split it into two.
Okay, it's just a drawing.
Right,
I
okay.
What are each lots? What are one lots?
This one is called lot number,
The middle one is B.
the little one is lot B,
How many acres?
approximately 25.7. So there are no services on the property. There are no nothing other than trees and some paths through there. So that's a very straightforward division. Any questions on it, and what they would like to do? And they're changing ownership. Of course, that's what we're doing here.
It might, I guess I just don't understand. When I look at the middle piece. And it shows a 319 and a half foot, and then
Right,
it come up with that 374 with all three of them. But it shows then a 54.74, which they're all three exactly the same.
Yep.
What is that 54 in it? I just-
where is the
Why is it-
54?
Why are they?
That's,
Why they?
this is a pre-existing survey and that's the way the surveyor did it. I don't know if
Just a
there's,
carryover. from
don't know if there's a pin there or
Yeah.
it's probably
I'm
most,
just curious.
you want to see what he's talking about or?
Oh, you might. Oh, absolutely, come on up, man.
Change the bearing is what it is.
It's a
Change-
what?
Change, the direction changes there, the direction of the line changes.
Oh, okay, I was just looking at this and that.
Okay, that's why
They had it. instead of
saying
one.
that.
It's minor, but.
Oh, okay,
50, okay, that's why that's like that.
okay, thanks for that.
And that's included in the total road frontage
Yeah.
calculation.
Yeah, I was just
Okay.
wondering why they broke it out,
Okay,
that's all. Curious.
so each lot conforms in terms of area, they're large lots, all on 25 acres. They all meet road frontage requirements, minimum width, minimum depth. Any questions? About the application, look, we reviewed the application, reviewed the survey map, verified all of the area requirements for the subdivided properties.
When the map, the lines under the parcels identified A, B, C, it includes that line to be conveyed to,
Yeah,
are these going to be annexed to?
no, he's just changing owner, he's gonna change ownership by deed. Once the subdivision approved, he's gonna change the deeds, and they're gonna be different owners in what he had. Again, what you're looking at was never recorded, okay? This was an early survey map long ago, and at the time, they put, it really shouldn't have been to be conveyed, it was just name of owner. So our purpose is to approve the division of the property into the 3 lots. They'll take care of the ownership once they create the deeds. Anything else? If not, I guess in the application is complete, so I would entertain a motion to grant preliminary approval.
You do all the beforehand?
We opened the public hearing, yeah.
Yeah, we did all that.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to grant preliminary approval.
All right, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Steve? Who wrote? Okay. Any other discussion, comments? All in favor? Aye, opposed? Okay. With that, we'll move to the environmental assessment form. Again, questions 1 through 21. 1 through 20. Any questions on those? Okay, Steve, go.
Wonder if we could just on number 3. Could we put the total acreage on the site?
Oh, yeah, okay. Total acreage is 79.1. And then what do we put, acreage contiguous? Total acreage. So we're gonna put 79.1, I won't do it, I'll have. Well, that reminds me, I need you to come back up, Mr. Ward, and amend yours. So that'll be 79.1.
When I thought,
We're not disturbing anything.
right. When I
Okay.
thought number 4 to be consistent with our past ones, we could also check the rural. Non-agricultural provision there.
Okay, that's what we did on the last one. Difference being there's no house on this one.
Right,
No
so
structure.
and so residential would not apply here really,
Right.
just it's forest and rural. Cause they say check all land use.
Okay. All right, so number 3 and number 4. Any other questions about this seeker? All right, given that, we're gonna go to part 2. Since we just read through all of those in the previous one, I'm not gonna read through them here. Save Birch's voice from reading all of those. We're complying, we're commenting that these are all no, all of these. I didn't see anything unless someone disagrees with any of them. So I will check these all off as no on the original application. And part 3 then is impact on the environment based on what we said. Make a motion to declare that this has no negative impact on the environment.
I'll make a motion.
Birch, thank you. Got a second?
I'll second.
Dwight, all in favor?
I,
Aye. Great. Okay, so I could pause and I'd like both of you guys to come up here and have you correct these. If you would, Mr. Ward, I'm glad you didn't leave. So we made changes here. So I'm gonna get you a pen. On yours, Mr. Ward, oh, you've got a pen? All we have to do is change number 5. And then add. Well, it's number 5.
adding forest.
Then the other one is number 14. Okay, we wanted to add 114, we decided it's not in succession. I guess it was just out. Thank you. All right, is this one legal?
Did you get Mr. Chichetti?
Oh. Needed your glasses, okay.
Allow that.
So number 3. We're going to add 79.1, that's what you had on your application. Yep. And number 4, we're going to add rural. Thank you very much. See, that's it. This one goes with the. So we are back now to the Chichetti subdivision. At this point, we'll I need a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a
motion.
I'll make a motion.
Caitlin
I'll
makes a
second.
motion. Birch seconds.
Gotta be on my toes here.
That's right. All in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. So at this point, through the process, all that remains is a final approvals, and all we've done is identified single change to the map. So we would entertain a motion, we give a conditional approval, conditioned upon submitting a final survey map with the mentioned. What did we say? Oh, yeah, with the new property line, that's all we need to say.
I'll make a motion.
All right, Caitlin, is there a second?
I second.
Dwight? Any other discussion, anything from you? Yes, yes. 62 days from, no, there's no time, excuse me, there's 6 months between when we vote on this and you to getting it to me to sign. At that point, you then have. So then at that point, you have 60, after I sign it, you have 62 days to record it. So the motion's on the table to grant conditional approval. All in favor? Aye, opposed? Carried, thank you. So everybody knows your assignments, right? You can call on the planning board phone or email on the planning board and we can get together to sign those maps, and he'll need the same set, 3 paper and 1 Mylar. And we're all done with those. Thank you.
Curious, does the board keep one copy? That way?
Yes, that's why we need 1. We keep a property file here. And 2 paper and 1 Mylar go to the county.
Okay.
Yep.
Typically, I would do at least 1 more so that the owner gets assigned.
Oh, yeah, you can do is, I mean,
Okay.
often the owner wants one that I as chairman have signed also. Yeah, it goes in the file. Okay. Moving on, fill out your vouchers for meeting attendance. I included a spreadsheet with the best I could from our minutes of who attended meetings. Notice we did get a raise this year.
Do we include today's meeting?
Yes, yes. I didn't include it on the spreadsheet because I wasn't sure who was gonna be here. And next month, we will make out a voucher for the December meeting.
Do I pick it up?
Okay, just for your information, we're gonna get a $3 raise next year. Each meeting will be $48.
45.
And we do need to specify chairman and vice chairman. Any volunteers to become chairman?
Did I hear you
I'm
volunteer?
I'm willing to stay on one more year if you want. Okay,
If you certainly
and
done your due.
well, just, you know, you get $300 extra for being the chairman.
That went up.
Yeah. Used to be 2.
I make a motion to appoint Ted
Recommend,
as,
well, we recommend
we
the town board. They
make a
appoint.
motion to recommend to the town board to appoint Ted as chairperson for
Okay.
2024.
And I'll make a motion, we.
Who seconds?
I'll second it.
Okay,
Okay.
all in favor,
Aye,
Aye.
opposed, okay, Birch,
I'll make a motion,
On
we,
behalf of the board, I really, we all appreciate all the time and effort you put into it.
thank you.
I mean, that's sincerely, but, you know,
make a motion, we. Recommend Caitlin for vice chair, if she will accept.
I'll second that.
I will accept.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Caitlin did all for you.
And the last thing, privilege of the floor, Steve Grote's term is over this year.
Oh, boy.
I'm kidding.
Are you willing to sign up for a new term?
Missed that. Huh. I don't know, but the board will have me, I guess I consider another one.
That's, we don't have to vote on this, we just have to tell the town board that he wants to do that.
It's only
Okay.
7 more years, that's all.
That's what,
It's only 7 more years.
yeah, that's right.
I'm not saying I served the whole year.
But you're, okay, so we will let the board know that. Okay, anything else on privilege of the floor? All in, a second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. The December meeting is December 9th, 18th.
Early.
Oh, wait a minute.
Adjourn for Steve
Steve.
and Dwight.
There's also December 20th.